All right, so hello and welcome to my podcast, the season 1, episode 1 of the First Floor podcast. I'm the host, Emily, and this is my friend Jabex.
Coming from the 4th floor.
Coming from the 4th floor because next semester we'll live on the 1st floor.
Yep.
Exactly. So today, our topic of discussion is, how does social media influence infidelity? Now, how does this topic relate to psychology? So according to Rokoch and Chan in Love and Infidelity and the Consequences and Causes, being cheated on can result in emotional manifestations such as extreme anger, betrayal, insecurity, rage, shame, guilt, jealousy, and sadness, of course. And many people who are cheated on may experience symptoms of PTSD. Something we would normally associate with soldiers who've come back from war, who've risked their lives, who've seen, horrific things, whatever it is. And we associate those same emotions that are felt during those horrible experiences to how we feel or may feel after being cheated on. So being cheated on can also cause symptoms of paranoia, rejection, depression, loneliness, confusion, resentment, envy, and being triggered aggressively by just people that have nothing to do with the relationship at all. So in order to begin discussing infidelity and cheating, we have to first ask ourselves, what is love in a relationship?
Well, love isn't something that can be quantifiable. Love is something that you just feel. Love is love. I know that, at least in a relationship, love is a commitment. So it is something that you have to commit yourself towards.
Right. To me, I feel like love, when you love someone, it means that you put their needs above yours, which can not be the healthiest situation, especially if you end up getting cheated on, because of course you don't go into a relationship thinking, oh, this person is going to cheat on me.
I feel like that's more toxic. If you're putting other people above yourself, then you're not actually there in the relationship, you know?
Right. I understand what you're saying, but I mean, I guess if you're madly in love, you just think of that person constantly, right? You could just walk around and be like, oh, I know this person would love this and that. They're when they're constantly on your mind and you're thinking about them constantly, all day, every day, I feel like that's where love begins.
There's a line, though, between love and obsession.
True.
Yeah.
So what's that line?
Well, I mean, because you're talking about social media relationships too here. These are parasocial relationships. So a lot of times people are caught up in these ideal relationships with people that they've never even met before. Who's a famous person that you know that you're completely obsessed with? Shawn Mendes. You've never met Shawn Mendes, but have you ever commented on his posts? Have you ever liked his posts? Anything along those lines, you're establishing a relationship with somebody that doesn't even know you exist.
One-sided.
Yes.
One-sided obsession.
Basically.
Okay. And then in the love, it should be mutual.
Love exactly. Okay. In a mutual relationship, it should be. But not all relationships work like that.
So that brings me to the next point, is the 5 love languages. So the 5 love languages include acts of service, quality time, receiving gifts, physical touch, and words of affirmation. So love is meant to consist of actions towards a self and another. What would you say are your love languages?
I mean, for myself, I'm kind of in the same predicament you are, because I see myself as a people pleaser. So I always want to make sure that I'm fulfilling the requirements for the other person. But that being said, I do also like I appreciate like quality time with that person and like acts of service.
I would say quality time is really big to me, because how am I gonna love you if I never spend time with you? Physical touch, because I'm not really, I guess, affectionate with a lot of people. So if I'm affectionate with you, you should know that I care. And then words of affirmation and receiving gifts, because I buy people stuff when I like them.
Receiving gifts or giving gifts?
Receiving and giving.
Okay.
But here it just says receiving gifts, but in my mind it's receiving and giving.
Okay.
So, according to Sternberg's triangular love theory, the building blocks of love are intimacy, passion, and commitment. So we started talking about social media, relationships, love already. But my second question to you is, do you think commitment is threatened by social media?
I would say it definitely puts a damper on people's commitment, because it makes an ease to be able to it kind of takes away the immediate consequences, because they don't have the like in real life, like if you were to catch your man cheating, you see that shit happening and you do it then and there. But over social media, you're scrolling and you see your man commented on his ex's photo. At that point, it's like, how
do I react to it?
Yeah. Because it's just like, it's something that's not physical.
Because it's so iffy, right? It's so iffy. Which brings me to the point said by Be Well Therapy Group. And I quote it from them. It says, "Because infidelity is less concrete in the world of social media, those who engage in it have a false sense of security. This encourages more people to wander outside the lines of what is considered acceptable or not in a relationship." So exactly what you said. I feel like social media is such a threat to all relationships, not just love, but relationships in general, but mainly focusing on love right now, because people are just sneaky. They can do things behind your back. They can message this, message that. And it's not like most people are in a toxic relationship where they have each other's phone password, or they have your Instagram password, or they see all the TikToks you're liking or whatever.
I mean, there'd be some people that like that though. Which is, I mean, there are some people that like, they are just, what's the word?
I don't know.
I hate when that happens.
What's the word?
Sorry.
Like, they like being in control, or they
like they're protective in a way, but
possessive?
not possessive. Yes, possessive.
So you think it's bad, or you think it's good?
I think it depends on the person. I mean, I was even talking to my coworker about this yesterday, and they like the fact that their girlfriend is possessive. Because in their mind, they're like, oh, that means that they want me more.
I see.
Or it means that they're fully committed.
It means like, they want me all to themselves, so they must be obsessed with me, they'll love me, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
This brings me to my third question, is who do you think is more unfaithful in relationships? And I mean like traditional relationships, like men-women relationships.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about a binary here, then typically, like statistically speaking, it's probably men. Because men seem to have the ease of doing it. It's also more acceptable for men to like be able to like go out and be in a dating scene than it is for women to. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I do think it's 100% more acceptable for men to cheat than women, because if men cheat, it's like, oh yeah, it was expected, you know, like all men cheat, which encourages or promotes that stereotype. everybody says, oh yeah, all men cheat, so they just do it. And they'll be like, well, you know I'm a man. Men do what they, like, boys will be boys. And I hate that saying, that phrase, because it just is so dumb and outdated. And so, like, I just feel like we need to hold them accountable for things. Not just men, women too. Women cheat also, men cheat. That's another thing. I feel like people cheat equally. I just think men cheat more openly.
Yeah, I think for men at least, it's more like they cheat in a different way.
The next one, which didn't really surprise me, but I don't know how you'll feel about it. It's 57% of marriages end in divorce due to cheating.
No, that doesn't surprise me, actually.
It doesn't, huh?
I'm surprised, actually, that it's not more than that.
Really?
Like, yeah. I feel like it's more, most of the time it's because somebody cheated or somebody, like, was unfaithful.
I feel like, in terms of divorce, people get divorced just because they're bored. Or people cheat and end up getting divorced because they're bored. I wish they would have mentioned...
I feel like that's mostly men.
I feel like it's both.
Really?
But, yes, I feel like women get bored in the sense that they're no longer feeling like they're being chased. And men get bored as in, what is there to chase now?
Not all women want the chase.
That's true. But I guess from my perspective, that's what I've always thought. Because if you talk to a lot of people in the marriages, they're like, oh yeah, once you're married, like, all that goes out the window. Once you're married, you don't go on dates anymore. Once you're married, you know, like, when we're talking about when you're married for, like, a long time.
Yeah.
So that's what I...
Well,
that's how I took that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because, like, when they're when you're in a marriage for a long time, somebody gets bored and they decide they want to start looking for something else. Or, I mean, in other words, it's just somebody's not feeling fulfilled in the relationship, but instead of communicating that to their partner, they decide to take a different route.
Right, lack of communication, and which leads me to social media.
Yeah.
Everybody has a phone 24/7, and if you're not feeling satisfied, I guess, in a relationship emotionally, sexually, whatever it is, you have the perfect device that lets you meet those needs.
Which could even spring us off into another conversation of how social media, which is supposed to help us become more interconnected, has actually caused us to have a lack of communication with others because we're no longer having those face-to-face conversations. We're now so used to just be able to send a text message, or like, even like, I have friends that, like, we don't actually even have a real relationship. We just send memes to each other.
Yep.
Like,
yep, I have plenty of friends like that. Like, you don't even talk to them anymore. You haven't in months.
You haven't in months, but then once in a while they send you that TikTok and you're like, aw,
yeah,
they must have been thinking of me.
Exactly. So the next one is, this one I was not surprised about at all, because I felt like when I think of a person or a couple that cheats, or a person that's been cheated on, they tend to be younger. So the statistic says couples under 30 are more likely to cheat. What do you think about that?
Well, I think a lot of cheating happens in the early dating stages. Like, when you're already in an established relationship, it's more work for that person to go out and cheat. Like, why? And plus you're ruining an established relationship that you already have. So, like, for that person, for somebody who's already in a dating stage, it's easier for you to be like, drop that person and go to the next person. So
you, like, there's not as many consequences for it. You're just
basically,
like, you just know them, you're with them for a little bit, oh, whatever, move on.
Or, like, especially, like, a lot of people, especially our age, they contribute to, like, the hookup culture. So they're just so used to just, like, 1 or 2 dates, and then if they're not receiving what they want to receive, then move on to the next person.
And that leads me to, like, a thought I just had. Do you think hookup culture just continues because of social media? Like, you meet one person, like, we go out, you know, to the club, whatever, you get their Instagram, you get their number, whatever it is. Not not everyone that goes out essentially is trying to meet people, but eventually you do.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people are not honest. Like, oh, I met you today, but I have a boyfriend of 2 years. And then you find out later, and then that just makes it easier, right? It just makes it easier to meet people and stay connected with people. Because I feel like if we really go back, like before social media, and I'm talking about, let's say, like the 50s, 40s, when people went off to war, and there was men having babies with women outside of the US, other countries, whatever, they cheated. And they know they cheated, but they come back, nothing happened, because there was no proof. There's no number to call back. There's no nothing. So it just makes it easier.
I know. Also, it's just like, it's so normalized for men inherently, just because of like them being in war times, like being able to go out and like do those things. Even today, my professor made that joke, like, oh, when I get older, my daughters will take care of me. Or there might be more daughters, but I don't know, who knows? See, like why do you think that's funny though?
It's not. Like, I really hate when people make jokes like that. Yeah. Like, I have a pretty strong view on cheating. Like, I really just don't see the point of it. If you're not happy, just leave. If you're not happy, be adult enough to say that you're not happy and leave it, or you both decide to leave it or work through it. I don't see the point of cheating. I guess I can see how people think, like, oh, maybe I can cheat or whatever. I guess I can try to see that, because I don't really like to see both sides when it comes to it. I just see it as wrong and be done. Especially, like, if I were to be cheated on, this first thing I'd do, I'd be like, okay, you're done. Because it shows that you don't care about whatever we were doing.
Pretty much. But there are some, like, here's the thing. Like, when you are, like, in love with that person, like, sometimes people hurt you and you allow them to hurt you because you love them so much.
Right. And that's putting their needs before yours.
Yeah.
Which,
again, is a toxic trait, but it's like, I like to go by the, like, fool me once, fool me twice rule, you know? By the third time, if I didn't learn, then at that point, I'm just being a dumb bitch. Like,
I mean, I see what you mean. The next statistic I have, which actually didn't surprise me, because I guess I would be considered one of the statistics, I guess. I'm a woman. It's about women, and I'm a woman. I identify as a woman. So 88% of ladies have emotional over physical affairs. What do you think about that?
I think that makes a lot of sense. Because a lot of times men are not able to fill those emotional requirements that women need. Or not even that, like, a lot of times, like, in relationships, if you're not feeling emotionally fulfilled, I've had a friend that was, like, in a relationship before, and, like, they would, like, basically use me to vent out all their feelings. And, like, I didn't realize it, but it's like emotional cheating, because they don't feel secure enough to talk about that with their partner. But it's like, you shouldn't put that burden on another person. You should be able to have those mature conversations with your partner. And if you're not able to have those conversations with your partner, then it's because there's a problem with the relationship.
Right. And that, I didn't even think of that, because, you know, everybody vents eventually to someone, and whether it's about your person, your job, school, whatever it is. But I didn't think of that. That's true. A lot of the times you do vent to someone is because the person that you're venting about is not listening. That's kind of sad.
Well, I mean, it can be the not listening, or sometimes it can be that, like, they just don't feel like they can, like, actually confront the person.
Because they'll hurt them?
That, yeah.
they'll hurt them, or it'll cause an issue and they'll break up.
Yeah, and they're afraid of, there are a lot of people who are more afraid of being single than of actually resolving any issues in their relationship.
77% of men confess to emotional cheating.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that it's less than women?
Then no, I'm not, because men tend to have a harder time expressing emotions in general. You know, machismo culture is real. Like, men don't know how to express their emotions, and then when they do, they find their like safety person, and that's the only person that
the girl best friend,
or the guy best friend, whoever it is, and that's the only person that they will express their or the. If they have a therapist, girl, hopefully.
True.
Shit. But it's at the point to where they can't express those emotions because they don't know how. And not only that, they're not taught how. And not only that, but that probably adds to the statistics of women cheating, because not only are they not able to express their emotions, but because of that, they can't even internalize the emotions that you are trying to tell them about.
Like, they don't even have the capacity to understand why you're upset.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's such the issue that contributes to cheating in general. Especially, I guess, from men, because, you know, it's more common for men to cheat. It's more acceptable for men. Is that they don't try to understand the issue here, or they don't have the capacity. They don't care, you know, they don't care. They're like, oh, you're mad at me because I did this, but I don't know. I'm like, it's not bad. Like, why would you be mad at me? It's like they don't have the capacity to put themselves in someone else's shoes.
A lot of that is just gaslighting too.
That, and it's true. And I was just talking to our other friend about that the other day, is that they're just selfish. And I feel like, I might not be the best opinion or whatever, but I feel like all people that cheat are just selfish.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, all people are selfish.
True. That is true, because we think about ourselves before anyone else.
It's just that the person who cheated, they were given that opportunity to, and they took it. A person with strong will, who is in a secure relationship, when they're given that opportunity, they don't take it.
Yeah, they can say no.
They can say no. But if they're not secure enough in their relationship and they're given that opportunity, they will do it.
They will. Which leads back to cheating in social media. According to Abazi, in social media addiction in romantic relationships, researchers have now coined the term techno interference for everyday technical intrusions, couple space. So essentially that just means not necessarily like getting a message from an ex or liking a post you see, but it's also within, like, let's say on a casual day, the couple's together and they're on a date. You get a phone call, you get a notification, you check your phone, you stop, you're talking, you're like, wait, I have to take this. It's just a whole bunch of interferences. And that leads me to my question. Do those who use social media more cheat more?
I don't want to say that it cheats more, because even those, like, I feel like even, like, there are people who are completely off of social media, who, because they're off of social media, it makes it easier for them to cheat. There's no paper trail. They just out and about on the everyday, just living life as a single person.
Cheaters gonna cheat. They'll cheat openly. They'll cheat with your friend. They'll cheat. They have no shame, is what I'm trying to say. They have no shame. So social media just adds to it, I would say. It makes it easier. It makes it, it makes people more accessible, which leads me to the idea that people think they have more options than they really do. Because I'm pretty sure almost everyone has gotten a DM or a message or something from a person that they're like, oh, who's this? They don't know who that is, you know, just followed me, whatever. Check their social media. Oh, they got a girlfriend. Then that leads you into like this predicament. Like, I've been in the predicament where I'm like, ooh, now that I see the girl in the picture, do I message that girl and say, hey,
your man's in my DMs.
Your man's in my DMs.
Come get your dog. Put him on a leash.
Your dog.
Put him on a leash because he's running in my yard, okay? So
running in my yard.
Get him out of here. Like,
it becomes embarrassing to both people in the relationship, I feel. Because one is getting cheated on, right? One is getting cheated on regardless if they know, if they don't know. Most of the time, we'll just assume they don't know because hello, cheating, that's what it is. The person doesn't know. And the other person looks like a clown because you're exposing yourself. You're exposing yourself. You have a girlfriend, you have a boyfriend, whichever, and you're not faithful. And I would never understand people who be like, oh yeah, like they know someone's in a committed relationship and they still talk to them, or they're still like, oh yeah, he's gonna leave his girlfriend for me, or da 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 da. I'm like, is he?
You think he left her like that for you? You think he wouldn't do the same thing for another girl?
Exactly. So this leads me to my own question, like not related to the next article yet, but to myself is, do they really have more options? Would people still have the same amount of options to cheat, like people to cheat with social media being so normalized and so in our face with everything? Or will they have the same amount of options to cheat with if social media didn't exist?
Actually, I was talking, my professor brought this up, like, because of dating apps and social media making it so that we have so many more options now, it makes us kind of like pickier now, you know, because we like, it's like when you have like, when all you can eat is cereal, you're gonna eat cereal. But if you got a whole dinner plate, you can be like, you know what, let me get some turkey, let me get some greens, let me get some mashed potatoes. But that's why.
So they do have more options.
They have more options, but that also makes it like it depends on the person, I think. Because if that person is like a greedy person, they're gonna want to put everything on their plate. But if that person is like a picky person, they're gonna see everything and they're gonna be like, oh,
no, not for me.
This is too many options now. Like, how do I choose?
And I think, yeah, it probably comes down to just personality. Some people have the willpower to say that's not for me. And then other people are like, let me try it, let me try it, let me try it.
Let me try this, let me try that.
Oh, not for me, let me try the next one.
Can't try everything once.
Again, going back to Abazi's article, Abazi did say, individuals who have social media addiction. So when we say addiction, we're not talking about someone that posts once in a while or someone that doesn't check their phone at every notification. We're talking about someone that is on their phone 24/7. Every time you look at them in a social interaction, they're like this. Every time you...
Me.
Anytime you text them, they respond immediately.
Like this whole time I've just been like,
on the
ding!
So those type of people are reported to be 8% more likely to cheat on their significant other.
Ooh. Ooh.
You might have to rethink that. Which now leads me to the apps that people use to cheat, right? So people, I feel like just with a phone in general can cheat. You could cheat with a phone, without a phone, whatever it is. But according to Dunn and Ward, an infidelity revealing Snapchat messages arouse different levels of jealousy. Snapchat appears to encourage infidelity. So a lot of people that cheat use Snapchat. Does that surprise you?
No.
Not at all.
It's gone in 24 hours.
Exactly.
It's easier for them. No proof.
Exactly. And what leads me, this actually relates to something I watched, probably a YouTube video or a TikTok a week ago. Snapchat was actually intended to cheat. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about an app being invented solely to cheat on your significant other?
What were streaks for then?
That's a good question.
What? How long you could cheat for? Like,
probably.
Damn.
It was initially invented to cheat on your significant other.
I mean, that makes sense because, you know, it's an app where, like, stuff just goes away immediately. So there's no consequences to what you put on there.
Do you think people that cheat want to be caught?
Ooh, maybe.
Do you think they want to?
Like, I brought that up earlier. There are some people that are, like, toxic and they
love the drama.
They love the drama. Mm-hmm. So they do it on purpose because they want to be a part of the drama.
And do you think people that openly cheat, like that, post pictures of their significant other and then message someone else, you think they want to be caught? Just to stir the pot? Just to say, I can do this, what are you going to do about it?
Well, first of all, you got to look at the real thing here is that they're not the clown. The person who is deciding to stay with them is the clown.
Ooh.
Because if you know your partner is repeatedly cheating on you and you continue to stay with them, you keep giving them chance after chance after chance, you just...
What are you doing, honey?
Girl, you're a puppet on a string.
Embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing yourself. We talked a lot about cheating in general, cheating through social media, how easy it can be, how easy it is to get caught, how people who are not on social media might not get caught. So now let's go to the perceptions of infidelity. So we talked about cheating this, cheating that. But what is cheating? According to Adams, in perception of infidelity, there are differences to how infidelity is perceived. Meaning, what counts as cheating? And which goes back to our earlier point is there's no concrete way of saying, oh, you cheated on me by liking a picture. There's no concrete way of saying you cheated on me by liking that person's story.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a difference between full-on cheating and acts of infidelity.
Which leads me to what's the difference now?
Well, that's the thing is I'm saying, like, it depends on the relationship, of course, because there are different standards for every relationship. But like if you, it also depends on the person. Mm-hmm. Because again, like going back to those parasocial relationships, if you are just liking some random famous person, you're not even actually doing anything. Like, you just, like, you commenting on their picture, you're talking to the PR team, girl. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what you're talking, like, yeah. But
I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but I feel like liking celebrities to me is not cheating. Because what is the chance that you're gonna run into them and like actually go on a date with them? And there might be someone luckily that has met their celebrity crush and gone on a date with them. But what are the odds?
Then that makes it to the whole other point of the spectrum to where for celebrities, is it easier for them to be able to be like, let me just pick out this person?
Of course.
Here, sign this NDA real quick.
Adam also says that infidelity can be perceived differently depending on relationship status, of course, if they're committed or not. And those who are in relationships rated sexual infidelity more harmful than parasocial interaction or emotional infidelity. Do you think that sounds accurate? Because for me, I automatically assume that people would be more hurt if you're emotionally cheating on me. I would be more hurt if you're emotionally cheating on me.
I mean, if you're cheating on me in general, I'm gonna be hurt. Mm-hmm. Like, emotional or physical. Like, I'm like, why didn't you feel like you could come to me?